New Year's, you've made New Year's resolutions, you have the best of intentions, you're going to drink more water, you're going to eat healthier, you're going to exercise, spend more time with your children, and then January 2nd comes around and they're all gone and you give up. Why? Why do we give up on these New Year's resolutions, and what can we do instead to actually make these things come to fruition instead of falling flat the day after New Year's? It's natural for us to want to change and to become better versions of ourselves. So, in order to find a solution for this problem, we have to understand why the problem even starts to begin with and where the problem stems from. 4 big reasons why people don't reach these goals. Number 1, they don't have realistic expectations and they're not thinking about themselves and what they know they can and can't do. Number 2, they haven't planned for how they're going to execute these big goals and how they're going to actually make it work in their life, how they're going to keep themselves accountable, and just all the logistics that go with starting a new habit. Number 3, their goals are too big. They're not, like I said before, they're not thinking about if this is actually a realistic thing that they can achieve, and they're not looking at the past of what their habits have shown them about how they might have not been able to do this in the past. Because often we have these things that we want to change about ourselves, and we sometimes have these patterns of starting, trying to change, failing, and then giving up. And finally, number 4 is you're not ready to change or you're not willing to put the work in. So a lot of people want to have these changes happen, but they don't either understand how much work it's going to take or they don't want to put in the amount of work that it's going to take. And so it's easier to just give up instead of keep trying and pushing through. So now that we know why we're not achieving these results or these goals that we're hoping to strive for, how can we do this? What steps can we take to implement that will actually get us from point A to point B and actually start achieving these goals that we really want to get to? One way to do this is to set SMART goals. By this I mean set specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. What does this look like? So specific. Instead of saying, I'm going to exercise more often, you could say, I'm going to walk. Then with your walking, a way you can make it measurable is, I'm going to walk such and such distance, or I'm going to walk such and such distance and increase it every so often. You've got to make it achievable. If this isn't something that you feel like you can do regularly, then you're not going to do it. So if you say, I'm going to walk for 45 minutes a day, that might not be achievable for you, especially as a mom. So maybe you would start with 10 minutes a day. Next is relevant. Is this relevant to you? There's no point in making a goal that can't be applied to your life. So say, for example, if you have a foot injury, then walking more regularly is not a relevant goal for you. And finally, time-bound. Like I said, with achievable, you've got to set a time frame. So how long are you going to walk, and for how long are you going to walk at that rate? So for example, I'm going to walk every day for 10 minutes for a month. This is measurable, it's achievable, it's something that you can measure through time, and it gives you an end goal. Because if you just have a goal with no end, then you're never able to actually achieve the goal. You're just kind of on this endless treadmill, pun intended, of trying to get this goal done, but it's never going to be finished. One big thing that really helped me with looking at these goals and just feeling less overwhelmed by them or discouraged when it feels like I don't achieve them is to look at habits and creating positive habits instead of looking at these outcomes. So again, for example, with exercising, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to do this, especially with losing weight, because you might gain muscle and lose fat, so you might gain more weight. So one thing that can really help you to just take those baby steps is just to make habits, and then once you create that habit, then you will see those results as an outcome of creating that habit to begin with. This is really important because often we don't see these results as quickly as we'd like to, and so it's very easy to become discouraged. Like with working out, it takes a long time to get into this habit and to do it consistently and to start seeing these results of weight loss. Because especially if you have a lot of weight, or like me, you're a mom and you're recovering from, being postpartum, it takes a long time for your body to lose this weight and to get back into shape. And so having those habits rather than looking for that outcome will help you keep going even when you don't feel like you're seeing results right away. 2 other really big things to consider when you're making a goal or a habit for your life is to be accountable to someone or something and to have consistency. If you're not consistent, you're not going to actually see results in the long run. So you do want to try to stay consistent, and one of the ways to stay consistent is through accountability. So again, with my walking example, if you find it hard to get out and get moving and walking, I know I do, one way that you can be accountable is to go with a friend or bring your pet, your dog along, or an app or alarms to remind you to do it throughout the day. These are steps that you can take to build that consistency and to create these habits. So if you can, get out a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, and I have a couple things for you to write down, because with goals, it's always really good to write these things down so that you have it clearly laid out what you're trying to achieve and how you're going to do it. The first thing to do is to kind of look at your mindset and get some solid, real expectations of what you know, because you know yourself best, what you know that you can actually do. And just pick one goal for now, just one realistic, achievable goal that you are going to try to do for a set amount of time, and write that down. Make a plan for step by step how you're going to do this, how you're going to stay accountable, and how you're going to stay consistent. Another really big thing is writing down a why, having a reason why you want to do this. And don't make it just a superficial, simple reason like, I want to do this. But come up with a real reason that can help you combat when you don't want to do this thing, like walking. And you can say, no, I decided I want to do this because of such and such reason. Once you get to that end of that set period of time, whether it's a week or a month or a couple of months, then you can reassess, see if there's any ways you need to adjust or you'd like to change, or if maybe it wasn't as achievable as you thought, maybe you can cut it down so that it's a little bit more bite-sized and doable for you. Another really big thing to remember is that if you stop or you forget to do something or you miss a day, just keep going, because once you stop, that's when things start kind of really sliding downhill and you get out of that habit. But if you forget to go walking one day, do it the next day. It's okay. You just got to keep going and continue to try to build the habit. So lastly, if you got to the end of this video and you just don't have any goals set down yet, do it. Go back to my tips of things to write down, and just try starting today. Just do right now one goal. That's all you have to do. And you can do it. It's totally doable. If you put in the work, you set yourself up for success with steps, and you have accountability and encouragement and reasons why to do it, you can do this. You've got this. One thing to remember is we are our own worst critic. I know that I definitely fall into this trap of being negative and putting myself down. Our goal is not perfection, but rather to be starting to train ourselves to take these steps towards reaching and meeting some of these goals. And along the way, it's very likely that you'll slip up, or you won't be able to do something, or you'll forget, or you'll be too busy to do it that day. But that's okay. That's part of the process, and you've just got to keep going, start over again the next day, and keep plugging away, because eventually you'll create these habits and you won't even have to think about it. Comment down below, what is one realistic, achievable goal that you plan to achieve for this New Year's, this month, that you're going to start working on right away? Comment down below. I hope you found this video helpful and useful and encouraging, and gave you some tips on how you can start achieving these goals rather than having these New Year's resolutions that end up failing the next day. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. If you wouldn't mind sharing this as well and subscribing, I have a lot more great content for Orthodox Christian moms that I will be posting. I post every Wednesday, sometime during the day, so keep an eye out for the next video, and I'll see you guys next time. God bless you.